Hello students. Now we have studied different topics given in biology syllabus of class 10th. In its earlier chapter, you have studied about nervous system, the different terms, the structural and functional unit of nervous system, that is the neuron, the brain, the nerves, and their related functions. Today in this class, we are going to study about the sense organs. What are sense organs? Sense organs keep us informed about our environment. It may be external or internal. There are 5 sense organs basically. These sense organs are having their specific functions. There are sensory cells which are categorized according to their functions. In different sense organs, we have different types of sensory cells specified for their specific function. Like, first of all, the first and important sense organ is the eye. Eye is commonly known as organ of vision. Organ of vision, that is the organ of sight with which we see the things in our surrounding. Now it has the sensory cells which are known as photoreceptors. Photoreceptors. Photo means light and receptor means receiving cells. That is, they receive light and using it forms image in the eye which is analyzed by the brain. Now, which are of two types, rods and cones. These are the two types of sensory cells present in the eye which are collectively or together known as photoreceptors. Second, the second sense organ which we have to study in this chapter, two sense organs has to be studied in detail, eye and second is ear. Commonly we say that ear is related to hearing, but students, we know that there is another function of ear also, that is called balancing. That is, the maintaining the balance and posture of the body is regulated by our ear. So this is the organ of hearing and balance. Both functions has to be given, not only for hearing and balance. So we will study later on in this topic, ear topic, that how will it help in balance of the body. Now, the sensory cells present in it is called audio receptor, also known as phonoreceptor. That is, the cells perceive the sound waves or sound energy. Third, there are 3 other sense organs which we must know, which are working for different types of stimuli. That is, first of all, skin. It is the organ for touch, pain, pressure, heat and cold. Now, for these 3, there is one type of sensory cell in the layer of skin called mechanoreceptor. That is for mechanoreceptor. And for this part, there is thermoreceptor. That is, it will be responsible for receiving the heat in the surrounding. So it will be, that is, like suppose our body accepts heat from surrounding, receives heat from surrounding, then its surrounding will be hotter, and if our body lose heat to the surrounding, that is at which is at lower temperature, then it will appear cold. Now fourth, nose. Nose. Nose is the sensory organ for a smell. Sensory organ for a smell. Now, the cell in it, as you will know, that in our nasal chamber there are olfactory cells. This is the cell in nose which is responsible for the smell, for the chemicals. So it is known as chemoreceptor. Chemoreceptor. It is also specified as olfactoreceptor. 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 That is the cells in nasal chamber or nose which is responsible for this type of stimulus is called chemoreceptor or olfactoreceptor, and the cell in it is olfactory cell. Olfactory cells. Now the fifth one. The fifth type of sense organ is the tongue. Tongue. It is for taste. Taste. Now, its sensory cells are present in some small elevated portion of our tongue. There are small elevated portions called taste buds. Its cells are known as again chemoreceptor, or for a specific for here it is gustatoreceptor. Gustatoreceptor. Now the cells are present in taste buds. Taste buds on the surface of tongue. On the surface of tongue. Tongue. It is called gustatory cell. Gustatory cell. So we see here, students, these are the 5 sense organs related to the different type of stimuli, and all these sensory cells present in these sense organs, by receiving these type of stimuli, keep us informed about the surrounding in terms of light, sound, chemical substances, heat and cold, and others. Now we see a student here, that is the working of nose and the tongue are combined together. Like you see, individually the nose is responsible for the smell. The tongue is responsible for taste. But when the taste and smell are combined together, then it makes flavor. Flavor. Like you see, students, suppose a person is suffering from severe cold and cough, and then the person often claim that he is unable to taste anything. Suppose any food item is given to it to taste, the person claims that is he is not able to judge the taste of the food. But this is not correct. Actually his sense organs on tongue is working, taste is working, but its smell is not working. The reason is that the nasal cavity is clogged with, filled with mucus, cough. So it is unable, that is the vaporized substances from the food item entering into the nasal chamber does not come in contact with the sensory cells. So a smell is hampered. As a result, flavor is hampered. So the person can say correctly that he is unable to judge the flavor. Like suppose a person, suppose we have given onion juice and the grated apple juice separately. And if we drink both the juice by closing our nose, both of them will taste sweet, because the taste is sweet, taste is working, and as the smell is not working, we have closed our nose, so we will be unable to receive about the smell of the food or that item. Clear? So students, you must have clear concept about the sense organs present in our body. Now we have to study the eye. Eye, which we have studied earlier. Just we have discussed that there are the pair of eyes on the front side of our face, located on a small cavity of the skull called orbit. So eye or eyeballs are located in bony socket called orbit. Now eye proper, when we have to study different organs and organ system, then actually in this part we can study it in two parts. One, accessory structures, and then the eyeball proper. Accessory structures, what are these? Accessory means helping. That is, these structures which we will study, like eyebrow, eyelashes, eyelid, eyelashes, tear gland, these are accessory glands. Means they are not directly meant for vision. If they will be absent, the image will be formed on retina, the brain will analyze the image and we will come to see the object. But if the eye has to work properly, then these structures are required to work or help in vision properly. So these are called accessory structures. So in order to study the eye, we first of all study accessory structures. Accessory structures. The first accessory structure is the eyebrow. Eyebrows. Eyebrows are the dense curved arc of hairs, small hairs, arc of small hairs at the junction of forehead and upper eyelid. So just a student, you can write this as the location of the eyebrow. This is the eyebrow. This is the transverse arc of hairs at the junction of forehead and upper eyelid here. It works like the shade of a window. Suppose eye is the window. Above it there is the elevated, slightly projecting forward structure. So what will be its function? So it prevents trickling of perspiration or sweat drops into the eyes. The main function of it, also we can say it prevents oblique light rays from entering into the eye, but the main function, like you see in hot summer, when there is a very hot summer outside, lot of sweating is taking place, then you will clearly observe that some drops of water will be accumulated above the eyebrows. If it will not be present, it will directly trickle and enter into the eyes and gives burning sensation. Sometimes we often remove it, wipe it out. So for some time it prevents trickling of perspiration drop into the eyes. Second structure, accessory structure, is the eyelid. Eyelid. It is the protective membranous skin layer in front of the eye. The upper and lower eyelids perform some functions, like by blinking it spreads tear on the front of the eyeball and cleans its surface. Second, it also regulates exposure period, that is the time for which light is allowed to enter into the eyes. It behaves like the shutter of a camera. When we see the camera which initially used the films, and when it was clicked, a small structure opens in front of the eye lens and gets closed. That is the time for which light is allowed to enter inside the eye. So when we do not require to see anything, or during the night for sound sleep, we just close our eyelid. Now, so eyelid, the upper and lower eyelids are the membranous skin layer in front of the eye. It first by blinking spreads tear over eye and cleans the surface. So it spreads tear and cleans the front surface of eye. Second, regulates the exposure period. Or the time for which light can enter into the eye. Now you see again, students, in human being the upper eyelid is freely movable. That is, it blinks from top to bottom. The lower eyelid is partially movable only. But in frog, the lower eyelid is movable. It moves from bottom to upward. That is, in upward direction, then comes down. Now, so this is the eyelid. In the eyelid, there is one more term that is called eyelashes. Now, this is the eyelashes. That is, it is the small curved hairs along the margin of the eyelid. Small curved hairs along the margin of eyelids, and actually these hairs prevent foreign particles into entering into the eyes. So prevent foreign particles from entering into the eyes. It also helps in proper closure of eyelid by forming interlocking like structure, such that while sleeping light will not be able to enter into the eye and there will be a sound sleep. One more point related to eyelashes, this is called stye. Now students, in class 9th in skin chapter you have studied that in the hair bulb there is sebaceous gland opening into its follicle. Here there is the hair, eyelashes. So at the bottom of the eyelashes there is also sebaceous gland. And when it gets infected, then a small swelling develops at the bottom of the eyelashes, that is at the margin of the eyelid, and this swelling will be painful to us. That is called a stye. Here, a stye is the infection in the sebaceous gland at the bottom of, at the base of eyelashes. So these were some of the structures related to eyelid. Now students, there is one more structure related to eye, is tear gland. Tear gland, also known as lacrimal gland. Lacrimal gland. Now students, that location, just we have to study when we will study human biology. Then in every chapter, every topic, while describing an organ, we will take care of 2 points for every topic. One will be the location and another is the function, because in ICSE board the location and function related questions are asked. Like it will be given, write location and function of the following structures, and the name of the structure will be given. So the best way of writing these answers, that you will make 3 columns. In first part you will name the structure, like suppose there is a tear gland. In this part we will write location and here the function. Now students, you have to write like this, or suppose you are not writing like this, then you can also write like this, that location and function. So tear gland is located on the outer, you can see this is the inner side of the eyeball, this is the outer side of eyeball. So on the outer upper part of eyeball, that is at this region, on the outer upper part of the eyeball, tear gland is located. On the outer upper part of eyeball. Now under upper eyelid. Now as a function it secretes. Now again you can select the term word secretes, not excrete. That is, tear is secretion but not excretion. Secretes tear or lacrimal fluid, which performs the following functions. First, cleans the front surface of eyeball. Front surface of eyeball. Now the eyelid, upper eyelid or eyelid blinks and spread over the surface, and then it will be cleaned. Next, lysozyme enzyme, which is antiseptic in nature. Lysozyme enzyme present in the tear. Lysozyme enzyme, in it kills germs. So these are the 2 main functions. Sometimes we also say that it expresses emotional state. of a person. Now, how does it express emotional state? So, whenever there is any kind of a stress, where there is we are hurt, or that is in grief, in happiness, in any anger, whenever the muscles contract, the tear gland is squeezed and tear flows out of it. So we say that it is expressing the emotional state. But the two are the major functions of tear gland or lacrimal gland. Now, when the tear overflows, then it gets collected under it in the orbit, and it is drained by a tubular structure that is called nasolacrimal duct. Nasolacrimal duct. Nasolacrimal duct. Now suppose we have this structure. On this side, if there is the eye, at this portion there is a tear gland. It's by several tubular structures, it opens here, and at this position there is the nasolacrimal duct. Nasolacrimal duct carries tear from orbit. Nasolacrimal duct carry tear from orbit to the nasal chamber or and pharynx. Nasal chamber and pharynx. You have often experienced, that is, suppose when we use some eye drops, then it will reach to our pharynx, and its taste can be also obtained, received by us. So this is the duct that carries tear from orbit to the nasal chamber. So students, these were the different accessory structures.